Well, as luck would have it, the battery in the GoPro died about 30 seconds before I got the crankshaft pushed out last night. But it's done now. It came out like butter, just almost no resistance, so I don't know why it didn't just push out of there, but should have just pushed out of there. Should have just lifted out of there, but it didn't. So, boy, my nose is stuffy. Forgive me for sniffling. Might be getting a cold. Now I'll gap that. That feels like that's near needing a rebuild. On the crankshaft you should have 0 up and down play on it. But it'd be normal to have some side play. Be able to wobble that back and forth side to side. But that feels a little excessive. I'll check that out later. So there's the clutch inner cover.
Hey baby, is this a dance party or work thing?
I'm guessing those 2 screws have to come out to get the governor out of there. Like I said before, it's a while since I did one of these. I'm going to leave this on the floor. Stubborn one. Whew. I got my fan shut off. It's warm today. My fan's so noisy you'd never hear me with it running. Those screws with that. This is definitely a little different than what I'm familiar with. This has a little retainer, 2 screws. And that's about it for the inner clutch cover. So about all we have left is the cylinder. Yeah, it's a while since I did one of this style. Now this is where you're going to find the differences between the different model years. Oh boy. Yeah, it's clear full of spooge. Keep this stuff separate for left and right. That came off clear. What?
Are you still making a video?
Yes, honey, I'm making a video. Go play for a little. What? What do you need?
After you, can I have to make a video?
Oh, well, I don't know, honey. We'll see. Kids want to use my video camera. Cardboard's starting to fall apart there, isn't it? Get that out of here. Well, this is definitely not what I'm used to. There's the tie rod. That would be on the left side. Boy, is this full of spooge. Oh, it has two tie rods. Yeah, this is definitely not one that I'm used to. Oh, that little cap pulled off and that left the spring hanging out, so maybe that doesn't come off yet. Okay, I see an 8mm here. Certainly holding something in. And a washer. And there's the exhaust valve. I suspect that this piece is going to unclip with probably, start to sweat, some split ring pliers, or snap ring pliers rather. smaller snap ring pliers. Now that should release the tie rod, hopefully. Which it really doesn't. Maybe that little retainer just keeps it from sliding in too far. Very much different than what I've done before. And I do not have factory manuals. I'm just the guy that sells used parts. It'd be crazy to try to buy a factory manual for everything. And Google's a wonderful resource. I've certainly used that enough. I see a 10mm bolt head in there. Be careful, buddy. Hurt yourself. Oh boy, I'm starting to sweat now. I'm pretty sure that nut or bolt, not sure what it is yet. I'm pretty sure that's got to come out to release something. And it's a nut. And that does release the end of the tie rod off the actual exhaust valve. So now the tie rod is not connected to the exhaust valve. That's good. That's a step in the right direction. I've got a collar there I just took off. Maybe a washer down there. There is. And there's the sub valve. I'm guessing there's a main valve in there. I'm really not sure on 88. Okay, so that was all right side. Boy, is that stuff covered in spooge. Man, I used to do this without gloves. It stained my hands for days and days. I don't know why I did that. Gloves are not expensive. But yeah, that stuff does stain your fingers. You have spooge on your hands for days. The cardboard's really starting to fall apart. Probably should have put a fresher piece down. Okay, so there's the nut. Which I think we'll just leave that little clip that we took off on the right hand side. We'll leave that on there and see what happens. Because I think there's the drive shaft for the other side. Or actuator, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure what the technical name is. There's the tie rod. There's the sub valve. Unless those are the main valves, I'm not 100% sure on that yet. Washer for that side must have come off. Yeah, I see it on the shaft. This thing's just oozing spooge. Now I'm not sure what this plate is here. It seems like the screw holds that plate in, and what kind of looks like a sub valve to me. Comes out of the center of that plate. I'm going to try gently prying that plate. If that's the actual exhaust valve, it's certainly pretty small. That sure looks like a sub valve to me. The cardboard's coming off there in pieces now. All that coolant I spilled on it last night. There's going to be another rod underneath there, a shaft or a rod of some kind. And that makes sense. That's what makes the one shaft actuate the other shaft. And that would be the side-to-side shaft. It's got some teeth on each end. Teeth and teeth. Goes between. Got a little 8mm headed cap on each end and a little copper washer. And there's a washer underneath where that retainer bolt was. Exhaust valves can definitely be tricky. There's so many variations of these things, and they changed almost every year, especially during this era. In 1988, everything was still really changing from year to year as the technology was improving. Now there are some flaps down in there, the main exhaust valve. I'm not sure how they come out. I can feel them in there, and I can feel carbon on them. That's the way it is with these. You can feel them, you can't see hardly anything. Well, maybe they're not flappers. You can just feel some kind of little protrusion down in there. I believe it's going to slide out of there. And I also believe it's gunked up really bad. That's where the challenge is.
Hi, dude. Hi. I still can't see the cord. Some of it. Yeah, I do.
Trying to pry on the valve, and certainly not on the chromium cylinder, nickel chrome cylinder anywhere. I'm pretty sure that thing is supposed to... There we go. Well, at least it moved. You can see that. I hate this flashlight with a three-way switch. Back here where there's a little gap, where there's a little opening, there's just enough room that I could get a tip of a screwdriver on there and pry it out slightly. We'll try doing the same to this side. There just isn't much to grab there. Aha! That is the main exhaust valve. And that is the left. Oh, that is the right. Oops. No, I wouldn't want to. That'd be the last resort, would be to hit anything with a hammer and ding up one of the mating surfaces. And really, it's got a lot of spooge on it, which actually really ought to help it come out, but it's also got some carbon on it, which is going to make it drag coming out. Just dirty. Man, does that stink. That's making my eyes water again. Oh, God. That really, really smells bad. I don't even know what it smells like. Dinosaur poop. Really stinks. Well, I suppose the studs could be removed if you needed to, but I see no reason to do that, so I'm going to call that done. Definitely got some cleanup to do. Definitely starting to sweat, man. Maybe get my fan turned back on. It's really, really hot. Hands are sweaty, and probably sometimes they get a little funky from the rubber gloves, but they're clean. No spooge on the hands. So, I mean, fingernails are clean, hands are clean. That's after tearing a motor down last night and this morning. Definitely worth putting the gloves on. That's about it. I'll give you a quick view of just draining the oil off stuff. That's all I'm doing there. Letting the oil drip off. Well, I hope that helps somebody out. Thanks for watching.